Shamangelic Healing podcast is designed as a platform to share authentic conversations about real life issues, providing you with valuable resources and tools to support you in shining your most authentic self, creating a thriving life that you absolutely love, and to support you in manifesting your soul's mission. Welcome to this episode of the Shamangelic Healing Podcast. We're getting into quantum physics today and how to leverage simple ways to access quantum physics to accelerate manifestation in your life. Manifesting anything, any dream you have, whether it's a relationship dream, a health dream, an abundance dream, or an impact dream, a lifestyle dream, whatever it is. Suzanne Adams is our guest today, a dear, beautiful soul sister. She's a best-selling author. She's also a TEDx speaker, and she gave a talk on this particular subject and really made it simple, like how to access simple tools of quantum physics to really manifest your dreams. You're going to love her. She has a free gift, so you're going to want to check the show notes for sure for all of her links and also her free gift. And we'll make sure you have the TEDx talk link as well. And I'm going to give you a free gift today as well. And that's going to be a quantum visualization, audio guided, so that you can manifest your dreams, accelerating with that quantum visualization. Also, join me for the 7-day free Clarity Challenge. That's going to be November 13th through the 19th. And this is 7 days to really get clear where you are, where you want to go, what's in the way, what is your yes, and steps to get you there. So that is going to be a free 7-day Clarity Challenge with me. Carve out those days so that you can join me for specific activities, about 20 to 30 minutes each day. It's going to really set you up for an optimized, accelerated 2020. Also, the doors for the Quantum Leap program with me, which is my certified high-performance coaching program. There's an online version, and there's also one-on-one coaching with that. And so the doors open for that. And you are going to love this program. It's my signature online program, so everybody can have access to accelerated tools, high-performance tools that really level up your life. And it is my dream, my passion, my mission to really help people step out of limitations, have the support, inspiration, and accountability to really manifest your dreams, live an impactful life, and do what you love. And life is just too short, and it really just breaks my heart when people have dreams but don't have the tools, or they don't take the steps to really get there. And life goes by too fast, and I would love for you to be one of those people that when you are at the end of your life, you look back and say, yes, I made a difference. I lived my life fully. I lived an impactful life, and I loved fully. And so this program is about supporting you in doing that. And we look at every area of life: mindset, relationships, your heart, your clarity, your everything about productivity. And so let me support you in making 2020 the best ever. So we are just opening the doors for applications for that. So check that out. The link will also be available in the show notes. So let's dive in with Suzanne. You are going to love this podcast. And as always, like it, share it. If there was something valuable, make sure to let us know. Give us comments about the podcast so we know what really landed for you. Thank you so much, as always. We appreciate your time. So let's dive in. Welcome to this amazing episode of the Shamangelic Healing Podcast with my so super sweet soul sister, Suzanne Adams, and we are going to just explore how to accelerate manifestation by leveraging quantum physics. And what I love about you is that you make this kind of complex, sciencey thing super simple, and a way in which we can easily leverage this wild science experiment called quantum physics, and how it can help us in everyday life. So First of all, welcome back to Sedona.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I'm honored and thrilled to be here. Thank you.
It's been 5 years we've known each other.
Crazy!
I know, I can't believe it.
Gosh, time flies, huh?
This last weekend was the 5th Sedona version of the Ignite and Expand Retreat, which is just an amazing weekend here in Sedona. You guys know what to do. Is having Sedona as a setting to amplify the intention of your groups, and also that the opportunity to do breath work and help your guests like deeply move the blocks out of the way.
I love it, and you know it's been such an honor having you and having you every time. And as you know, this event particularly was really powerful for me. Of all of them, it was the most powerful. And for those of y'all listening, I always, even though it's my retreat, I always lay down and do the breath work, receive with everyone. And so I've been able to experience this from Anahata a lot, and it's been amazing. And I felt you, and I felt the energy, so thank you so much for that.
Just from the very beginning, I don't know how quantum field, brought us together, because we didn't know each other before. Right. And just the opportunity and total synergy with both you and Cameo, who will also be on the podcast in a few weeks. Yeah. So, and congratulations on the TEDx talk.
Thank you. It's been so exciting.
Yes, well done.
What's most exciting about it to me is it's a conversation about frequencies and energies that's really gone mainstream.
Yeah.
And to have had, 450,000 views in just a few months has blown my mind. And thank you. It's so exciting because it's just a really a big start of a powerful conversation that we all need to be having.
Right. And what I appreciated about these scientific concepts, as soon as people start hearing physics, their brain just shuts off, or anything mathematical. Like if they weren't great at math or science in high school, it's like, not for me. And one of the things I appreciated about watching your TED Talk, and what we're going to get into today, is just how to make it simple and how everyday people can leverage, these what would seem as complex, topics and fields of information, like super simple, and how it can be for everyday people. So thank you for making it simple and making it accessible, because your talk was definitely that. We'll have the link for sure so that everybody can watch that as well. So give us the basics about what quantum physics is, and make it super simple for all of us that got a C in science or less.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have never been a huge fan of science, and quantum physics is one of those things that allows our human mind to understand the principle of energy. And so specifically in the TEDx talk, I went very, very layman, because I wanted the 16-year-old in high school all the way up to an 85-year-old grandmother to be able to understand the principles, and how we can really, when our brains can digest the fact that everything is energy and we all have a frequency and a vibration, and the fact that we can actually create a frequency and vibration to call in our dreams, is everything. And so the main thing I want everyone to understand listening is, first of all, if your brain shut down with the word quantum physics, open it up. And if you got excited about it, then let's stay in that energy as well. But there are some people that will go into all kinds of depth and breadth with quantum physics. The thing I think is the most important is just the simplicity of understanding that anything on Earth is made of energy. And that's because we're all made of molecules and atoms, and they can be broken down. Everything can be broken down and seen with an energy. And there is a Hertz vibration scale. And I don't know if you're watching, listening, it's just like an upside down V. And it talks about the frequency of our emotions. So like shame, grief, fear is at the bottom. And if you think about it, when you're pissed off and you're your arms are crossed and you're mad, like that's
scowling,
like that's a very thick, dense, low vibrational energy. But when you're like happy and excited, I love to use, at Ignite and Expand, we love to say yes, yes, yes. Yeah, like when you're in that energy, you're open. And think about the times you say yes.
Yes.
Maybe you got a dessert.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe you were getting a little frisky with somebody, yes.
Right?
And you start to think about when you're in the energy of yes, like maybe, some money showed up, expected or unexpected, and you're yes, or you had a third date with someone that was really exciting, and that energy is really open.
Yeah.
And so when our conscious and subconscious minds can start to grasp this and understand it, we're able to be in the driver's seat and create a reality that we're really excited about.
Right. So what I'm hearing is excitement is a big part of accessing this quantum field. Is who would have thought that like our emotional state and science and empowerment and manifestation and spirituality would intersect.
Totally.
I love this time to be here on the planet, to be a human body, because we're bridging all of these things that used to be in separate silos. So spirituality was over here, and your emotional state over here, and manifestation or your career, or attraction, like all of that over here. And here is quantum physics, like way, way over there. And I just think it's really cool that they're all intersecting and have then the opportunity to amplify each other.
Totally. And it really is. This conversation is about the intersection of quantum physics and spirituality and the law of attraction. Like, it's really that simple. And, our cute little minds like to tell us that everything has to be hard. If it's worth anything, it's got to be hard. And it's not true. It's actually very, very simple. And that's the hard part.
You're like, wait, but where's well, can it be difficult? Where's the struggle? It must not be worth it.
Right.
Because then we're rubbing up against a limiting belief or an
Totally.
old belief that is actually not true.
Yeah.
And so we're still looking for the struggle, which is humorous. I think it's hilarious. It is a comedy show down here.
Right, of course. Or thinking that like this is like, I remember when I first started awakening to all these principles, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is it? Like, this should be taught in first grade and second grade and third grade and so on,
Yeah. So super excited about that. And I love that this gives us the opportunity to stretch. If even just exploring quantum physics is stretching you or stretching your reality about what you think is possible, I think this is a bridge of stretching limiting beliefs, stretching the dreams of what is possible.
Yeah.
And when we're looking at manifestation, what we're talking about today is maybe that is, a relationship, or maybe that is physiology or abundance or a certain lifestyle or a material experience. But manifestation can come in many forms. So
absolutely.
What we're talking about today can be, you can insert, I would like to manifest or experience or create this thing, whatever that experience or material thing is that what we're talking about today can apply to all of that. Yeah?
Any of it, yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Because who doesn't want a yes in all of those areas?
Right.
Because they all affect each other.
Right.
Optimal health and abundance and love and a career, a purposeful mission. Like, who doesn't want all of that?
And we can have it all. Sometimes we tell the story of, well, this area of my life is doing really well, but this one's not. And maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. And, I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on here, but I'll just say I call BS on that. But you can. It's a mindset piece and really harnessing a certain energy and owning it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that just is about deservability and about worth, self-worth.
Right,
and so it may rub up against a mindset that is old or limiting that you might have taken on from society or social structure, family dynamics. Okay, so what is so everything is energy. Back to quantum, like Science 101. Everything is energy. Okay, what's the next step of quantum? Breaking down the simplicity of quantum physics.
Well, so I have 5 quantum tools that I can share with you that I break down, or I actually kind of just touch on in the TED Talk. And the first one is we've kind of partially covered. So understanding the basics of quantum physics and that everything is energy. So again, are, you know, we're skin, we're bones, we're tendons, we're also energy. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions have energy. And those energies lead to a frequency, which we talked about with the Hertz vibration scale. And so when you understand that you're like a walking signal, right? Like what you're thinking is sending out a frequency, or what you're feeling is the step number one, just understanding, and then really being able to turn up your frequency. So thinking about where could you turn it up? So we talked about the yes, yes, yes. Where can you bring that yes, yes, yes energy in more? Where can you really start to feel better and turn it up? And so I like to just visualize like an actual dial, like I'm turning it up. You know, and this can happen so many different ways. You can meditate, you turn up your frequency. Having a fun, enlightening conversation like this, or listening to it, turning up your frequency. Essential oils, laughing. Yes. There's so many, but those are just a few ways to really turn up your frequency.
Right? Because it's a choice. Our frequency, like you said, there's scales, and I know I teach this in my courses too, and I know you do as well, of just like acknowledging David Hawkins' work that has the scale where it's actually the hertz for each, you know, like guilt and shame literally is the lowest possible human frequency.
Right.
And like bliss, like joy and happiness and bliss actually calibrates even above love.
Right.
You know, and so it helps us, I think, with that check-in to be like, well, in the quantum field, if I'm a walking antenna, what am I putting out there? Because I think that we just walk without awareness of
so many people.
What vibe am I putting out? Am I grumpy? Am I tired? Am I overwhelmed? Am I stressed? Because as soon as I walk out that door, that's what I'm emitting that.
Right.
So then I'm in essence attracting that.
Yeah, that's why it's the intersection of the law of attraction as well. And so with the turning up your frequency piece is really about identifying where you are, and then thinking about how you can just turn it up in each area, right? Because when you start to be aware, I spent way too many years unaware and not understanding, and I was always pretty optimistic, you know, just naturally. But if I would have had these tools, you know, gosh, at age 7 or 15 or even 25, you know, and so on, it would have been amazing. And so that's why it's so on my heart to teach people this. So
with that vibration shift, because if awareness is one of those things, okay, if the concept is everything's vibration, everything's energy. Part of that, like you said, is being aware of what energy are you vibing right now. Because a belief can be like, this is stressful, it's not going to not be enough, they're going to break up with me, I'm going to be alone forever, I can't do it, I don't have the money. And so we could be looking also at our thoughts to determine where, like, is that thought raising my frequency, or is it depleting my frequency or lowering my frequency?
You just hit the nail on the head, because the turn up your frequency, the whole point of that is to get yourself in a state of awareness. Because like when we start to realize like, oh, this thought or this emotion is actually going to create my reality, then there's a shift in just the awareness, right? So that's a perfect segue into quantum tool number 2, which is to set an intention to align with love or above. So if we go back to the Hertz vibration scale, you were just mentioning the joy, the bliss, the enlightenment is above love. So all of those are open magnetic energies, right? So if first we're aware, like, oh
where
crap,
am I?
I need to turn it up a little. You know, these are the areas I need to turn it up. I need to get this old loop, this old story. You know, let me think. I'm trying to think of one for myself that would help the people listening. So,
like, what's a typical loop that is a low vibration belief that we can bring awareness to, so that then we can
I'm not
shift.
worthy to receive. So a lot of times, if we're not receiving something, we have a belief or a coding, a programming, whatever you want to call it. I'm not worthy. I am not enough. Right? And how can you can actually reprogram that very quickly if you're aware. And you can activate a new level of energy inside of you if you're aware of that belief. But if you're not even aware you have it, then how can you change it, right? So in the thinking of turning it up, it's bringing to your conscious as well as your subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind runs the show about 90% of the time.
Right.
And that's the stuff that we're not even aware of. But when we start to look and dig in and want to be aware, then those thoughts start to reveal themselves.
Right. What's in the blind spot? You're like, oh, this inner dialogue is I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy, which can be related to relationships.
Right.
I'm not lovable. Everybody leaves me. Or it can be a money, like I don't deserve that much money, or I can't make that much money, or no one's going to be paid.
Or feeling good.
Yeah,
I mean, anything.
Good. Health, like,
Yes.
oh, I'm not going to be that fit, or that's not. So,
Right.
So being aware of those, like, really focusing on, like, what's the inner dialogue? What's on repeat up there? So then shifting over to number 2 of just like, love or above. I love that.
Yes.
I really do enjoy that. Love or above.
I borrowed that from Christy Sheldon. She is the one that I first heard love or above from. And if you think about it, first of all, set an intention to align with love or above. Setting the intention is a powerful thing energetically, right? Because intentions are like magnets.
Yes.
And so that is also commanding your conscious and your subconscious mind to call in more love and the higher frequency energies, which it then makes you a match to receive those same energies. That's where the whole intersection of the law of attraction, right? So it's all of these different theories and principles boiling down to very simple, basic things, right?
So if I think I'm worthy of this kind of a relationship, or if I didn't think, if I'm starting with my low vibration, I'm unworthy, as an example.
Right.
And I start walking out the door with that, and I start vibing unconsciously with that, then I attract that level of worthiness.
Right.
That of a person that doesn't see me, doesn't respect me, doesn't show up, and I settle for that because my belief is a vibrational match for
And
that.
that's the frequency that you're sending out.
So what I'm hearing you say is, hey, before you go out the door, or even just in your own space, because we can be attracting absolutely from our own space, it's like, let's shift that to love or above so that you're feeling that self-love and you're feeling that vibration of a higher level of worthiness. And then you go out the door and you start attracting that level of vibrational match.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, if we feel like crap one day, or if we're, if we have a low vibrational thought, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
We're human beings and we're going to have those. And so it's again about the awareness piece, because when you set the intention to align with love or above, if you're not feeling good, you become aware faster.
Right.
And in that, if you can just sit with what's up for you.
Right.
Be
Because
with
that
it.
is love.
Yeah.
Is
exactly.
to hold a space for, I'm grieving, I'm in
Yeah.
overwhelm, I had a loss, or I'm angry. Like the loving vibration would be self-care in that moment.
Yeah. And then it transmute the low vibrational energy.
Yeah.
Because you were just tuning into, what is my heart telling me? What am I feeling? And then you're able to get excited a lot faster.
Right. Because you're not bypassing emotions of like, that's a low vibration, I shouldn't feel that. I
Totally.
appreciate that you're clarifying that, because in the spiritual community and in the personal development community, there can be a lot of judgment about being angry or being emotional or being in grief or having those guilt or shame or whatever.
Right.
And they're human experiences. And so I appreciate your like delineating. There's like healthy emotions.
Right.
And there's, that this is just a thought that is triggering a low vibrational thought, feeling.
Is this
It's
a story, or is this something my heart needs to feel for a minute?
Right. Like my emotional body has intelligence. What's it trying to tell me? Oh, I love that delineation, because we want our emotional intelligence not to be like, I have to fake happiness when I'm really needing like emotional support.
Right.
So that's not what you're saying. You're saying, hey, like sit with that so that it can evolve.
Right. And then when you're sitting with your low vibrational emotions, with your sadness, with your grief, with the doubt, the fear, whatever it
anger,
is,
resentment, sure.
you start to rewire your brain and rewire the neural pathways, because you're leading from a place of love. And then you're, again, commanding your conscious and your subconscious mind that that's the way that you're choosing to live.
Right.
And again, just to break it down very simply, then that means you start to feel better faster. You start to attract in the things that you like a lot quicker. Love, abundance, friendships, all of it, relationships, everything.
And in that, if we can see our lower vibrations from a higher vibration, so that's like instead of meeting guilt and shame with more guilt and shame and like the inner critic and bully, like you shouldn't feel like this, you're supposed to be awake, you know, if we meet it with the high vibration of love and compassion, then it gets held and it gets to transmute easier.
It transmutes so fast, and it's a healing. You know, when I was first awakening, when I first became aware, I had gotten to a really low place in life. You know, nothing was working out the way I wanted it to. I had a great job. I had, you know, was almost engaged to a man I was deeply in love with, and I thought, you know, everything was going as it was supposed to, right? But I felt dead almost on the inside.
Right.
And I remember, you know, sitting in a place where all I wanted to do was numb.
Yeah.
And in that state was the first time I actually started to witness my own self as the observer and started to bring in, like, how can I feel better and what can I do to, there has to be something. And that was a moment in me when I realized a feeling telling me there had to be more.
Right.
And so that was such a powerful shift in my life. It changed everything for me, you know, and it was just tuning in to the way I was feeling and getting real with myself and allowing a power of love to lead instead of power of ego and anger and fear.
Well, and those emotions of feeling dead inside, I'm sure listeners and viewers, and both you and I and everybody watching and listens has gone through that place where they're not feeling aligned or they're depressed and sedating in one way. And we have so many ways to sedate.
Alcohol, pills, shopping,
work,
Facebook,
sex, the next relationship, run, hide, sedate, blame, ignore, distract, like our go-tos for I'm not in the right place. I don't, you know, my life isn't aligned. And so what I find is interesting, is similar to mine, is from the outside it can look great. Like I've got a great job and here's my fiance and like everything's great on the outside. I was married with 2 kids and like, you know, arrived at a big house and too many bathrooms, you know, and like empty inside in many ways, like it was somebody else's dream. And so I think, you know, part of this manifestation with quantum, you know, physics is to look at with what's happening in your lifestyle, what is your vibration with your health, with your relationships, with your career, with your family, and like what, and with your money, and like have that check-in that you're talking about to say like, not from the performance measures of the outside world or like the expectations of society, but to be like, how do I actually feel inside? What is my vibration? When people say, oh, I loathe going to work, I mean, that's loathing is a pretty low vibration.
Absolutely.
And yet they're being paid to do that. And so we're talking about...
And they spend the majority of their hours of their day there,
you know, of course you're going to sedate after that. Of course you're going to numb, because there's such a disparity between a vibration of I love what I do and I loathe what I do. No wonder I'm not getting a promotion. No wonder it's hard at work, because that I don't love it. I don't like it. And so I think that that's a valuable, and thank you for sharing that part of like, something radically needs to change if your vibration is, you know, not in alignment or high in you know, joyful. Even though we go through the challenges. If you feel like
crap more than you feel happy, something needs to shift.
Because relationships have their challenges.
Totally.
Careers have their challenges. We're not talking about that, but like the underlying vibration of how do you actually feel about this relationship or your body or, you know, money or career. Okay, cool. What else do you have, lady?
So, you know, what is really powerful about this is, you know, going back to me through my awakening, through my shift in my entire life, what I realized was I didn't even really know what I desired or what I liked. And so the third quantum tool is really about shifting into an energy of what truly lights you up. So many people, I have this all the time with clients when I'm like, what do you love to do? And they're like, well, I don't know. They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what lights you up? Like, what gets you excited? And we don't give ourselves permission to sit with that question, because we're too busy trying to fit into this box that society has told us to fit into, or a parent or a colleague or, you know, a profession or whatever it is. And that was also for me, like, I remember thinking like, like, what does light me up, right? And I didn't even know, like, you know, some of the things, like, you know, like divine connection lights me up, and I never would have said that before. Dancing, laughing, you know, I love being on stage, that lights me up. And so there's so many things I wasn't even aware of. And one of the biggest hurdles I see for my clients and even friends is they don't give themselves permission to dream big enough.
Yeah.
And they're too busy in their mind about what they think is possible versus, like, if I had zero limits, could do anything, be anything, say anything, have anything, what would I be doing? And that is the energetic expansion of really activating a new level of manifestation in your life, is allowing yourself to quantum into that vision of what would feel amazing and what feels exciting. And so we've got to give ourselves permission to shift our energy to what actually lights us up, instead of hiding and playing small and shooting here instead of striving here.
Thank you for that. And I think you're hitting it right on the spot, is that a lot of people don't know. And when I work with my clients the same way, like, oh, I don't know what I love to do. I'm like, where are you, you know, where is the passion? Where's the fire? They don't know. And it's not that they didn't know. It's just that if they did go towards music or drawing or whatever, someone said, no, you're not supposed to do that. Or there's an age limit for drawing. There's an age limit for art or dancing or whatever. And so I think a lot of that, where we probably have at some point had something, even though it might not be what we're doing as an adult. But we have had the ability to say, I like this, and passion. And then sometimes somebody comes in and say, time's up, you can't do that any longer. Or, you know, when I did the JP podcast, he's like, I had to put my comedian in the basement because he's not allowed in adult circles. And that's where his joy was. He loved telling jokes. He loved making people laugh. He loved thinking about it, doing it, sharing it on stage, in the classroom, with a friend, at a dinner party. And like, that shut off a big part of his manifestation, because that was not a valid place. And so we've got to release the limits, is what you're saying here.
Absolutely. And, you know, people get stuck in not knowing what they like, right?
For sure.
So getting still, just sitting with your heart for 5 minutes a day, asking the simple question, what lights me up? What brings me joy? You know, what's my soul calling me to do? Because your soul is always calling you to do what's going to light you up. And the other thing is, I witnessed so many people, including myself, get stuck in the how. It's because we have these big, wild, vivid dreams once we sit with them, and then we're like, well, oh shit, how is this gonna happen? Yeah. And so when you're stuck in the how, you're not really vibrating with what you actually desire. Right. And so that's, again, just really, really shifting your energy to what you desire and not to what's in the way.
Yeah. Or the how. Yeah, like how to do that. And like that limitation to dream big. You know, I have one of my dear family members, you know, they know exactly this and this and this, and yet, but somebody else is better at that than me, but I can't do that because I don't have enough experience, or, you know, they're not going to pick me. And so what if you have the big dream and you know your passions, and here comes this voice that says, yeah, but even if they're not really concerned with the how, they're like already stopping the moving forward because I can't, like, the fears and the limitations start coming in.
They feel like a fraud. Who am I to do this?
Yeah, or I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. They're going to pick somebody else. So I shouldn't even take the step or throw my hat in, because of the fear of failure is so great that they don't want to dream big, because the fear of disappointment hurts. So, you know, it's like, well, why would I even leap? If I'm going to fall, then I'm not even going to take a step. So what would you say to somebody that's going through that?
I would say a lot of things. First, I would say is lean into the fear, and your fear is guiding you. And every big breakthrough and every big success I've ever had has been scary as you know what. And when we're, that's a very low vibrational way to live when we're allowing that voice to take over, because that's the voice of the ego, not the voice of our heart.
And fear,
And so again, that goes back to the awareness of turning up your frequency. And if you're letting a voice guide you that talks negatively to you, you're not turning up your frequency. Right. You're not aligning to love or above. You are certainly not, really attaching your energy. Not attaching is not the right word. Focusing your energy on what lights you up. Yeah. And so I would say to bring to your conscious awareness that you're letting a loop in an old story that's not only not serving you, but not serving the people around you. And if you made it to this podcast and you're listening, then you have the tools to shift it and tell a new story.
Right. And face the fears of like, you might not get it, but you certainly won't if you don't throw your hat in the ring.
Absolutely.
You might fail, but you'll also learn. You're going to fail. For sure. And like at least in that, there's been a tremendous learning curve with the podcast.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was doing for the very beginning. I'm still like totally new at this whole process, and I learn every podcast. I learn something to do or not do.
Yeah,
every podcast. And thank you, faithful listeners and watchers, for being patient with my learning curve, because I'm being uncomfortable with my discomfort and even doing that publicly. Putting myself out there, it's uncomfortable, it's awkward. Yes, I fail publicly, but I'm learning along the way. And so I think that there's value, and you get better when you at least try it and learn something. And
if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Yeah.
And it's a quote by Tony Robbins that says, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Oh, gosh, right?
And
it just begins to close, the walls begin to close in.
We talked about this a lot at our retreat, and that is, what are you hiding from? And are you really comfortable being comfortable? Because if you are, you're not growing. And, it's great if you've just achieved something you really wanted to achieve. Soak it up, enjoy it, be in it. And then know there's going to be the next thing that's going to feel uncomfortable, right? And we're always, as long as we're breathing, we're evolving and growing, right?
Well, that's the intention, is that we actually have a human need to evolve and grow.
Totally.
And the anxiety and depression and sedation happens usually when we're stifling that in some way with a belief or with a fear or with a story that is keeping us from growing, and that's going to go right into those low vibrations that we were talking about, that they tend to go hand in hand with the futility of, well, what's the point of life? Exactly. So might as well create a life you love.
Right. And that's, so the next tool that I wanted to share was surround yourself with energy that elevates you.
Oh, good. I love it.
Because think about it, and for those of you like that maybe, you can feel energy. Like if you walk into a room and, there's always this person that walks in and you're like, wow, like you could just feel the energy and the high vibrations. Or maybe you walked into a certain room and you're like, God, it just feels exciting. You're feeling high vibrations, right? And the same for the opposite. Sometimes you go into a room that's maybe dark and just doesn't, or maybe not.
Bar at midnight.
It doesn't feel good, and you can feel the low vibrations, and so it's starting to think about like who is elevating you. Where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time in nightclubs past 11 to 3 a.m.? You're not going to be in the most
inspired
elevated energy constantly. I'm not saying never go to a bar or a nightclub, but think about where you're spending your energy. Are you surrounding yourself? Are you coming to like events and retreats like you and I and so many others host? Are you finding like-minded peers, or are you getting the right coaching for mindset and to shift your energy? Are you having dinner with people that bring you down?
Right.
Whether it's a family member or a friend, right? And this is an important piece. And the beautiful thing about understanding frequency and vibration and energy is as you shift, the people around you shift.
Yep. And so you're going to have to outgrow, you will be outgrowing your circles.
Of course, but you'll attract a new circle, and some people in your circle will rise up to meet you.
Yes, exactly, which is really exciting. And I think that's one of the reasons why people don't grow, is because they don't want to leave behind a relationship that has supported them. And then if you start growing, then that if it threatens that relationship, instead of being supportive, I've noticed a lot of times
Right.
when, when I've watched others or, any of, my mentors are saying, hey, when I started growing, and I've witnessed this too, when I started growing and it threatens the relationship, that person that was the most supportive turns out to be the one that is willing to stab you in the back first. You're like, what happened? And that willingness to say, I want to continue to look at my circle of influence. And to me, the circle of influence, like you said, it's people, thoughts, media,
Totally.
books,
TV.
all of that, everything that we're reading, looking at, who's on my feed, who am I following,
of course.
what's coming into my inbox, in my mental diet, what conversations am I having on a Friday night. I had to back off from certain just circles because it was just, the vibration was gossipy. And I'm like, you know what, that doesn't really feed anything positively to whatever the people are talking about.
Right.
It's not sending good vibes to those people.
Right, of course.
For sure, and I don't want to participate in that. And it's like, I would rather participate in, yes.
Yeah.
Let me hear your dream. What is a challenge you need support with? Or how can there, what is, it's not about, we don't talk about our downside, but it's like, let's talk about it from a lens of possibility.
Right.
Let's talk about it from a lens of creative solutions.
Right.
And
or even of witness and support.
yeah, exactly. And so definitely I've noticed that with circles, are you surrounding yourself with people that have achieved what you are looking to achieve?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're still having, or if you're always the leader in your circle of influence, then you're still always going to be the teacher and nobody's teaching you.
Right. And looking for people that elevate you and cheer you on, So I've recently, as you know, just had a big move, and it was I'm excited to be by the ocean, and it was scary. It was so scary, but I knew in my heart and soul this is what I was supposed to be doing, and the energy of where I'm going, I feel so much more elevated in.
Yes.
And it was that was the one piece of it. The other piece was how supportive and amazing, like even family members that might not have wanted me to go, but were still really supportive about it, and that they might not have been that supportive 4 or 5 years ago, you know, and it just goes to show the energy and the vibration that you're putting off is important. And so I think it is just how, like, everyone listening, just tuning in to, like, where do I feel amazing? Like, who are the people that are cheering me on? Where can I get more of that?
Where can I get more of that? Because they might not be. You might be made fun of for having big dreams.
Of course.
And the people,
shut down.
Shut down or judged, or you can't do that, or who do you think you are, or how dare you? And because the dream can be too big for the person listening. They think, I don't think you can do that.
Right.
Which is not necessarily something you want to be hearing. So like, thank you. And I know when I was pregnant with the twins, like my circle, no one in my circle yet had kids. And so I had one of my friends had already had her daughter. And so I'm turning to her like, okay, oh my gosh, any advice? And she just was like, I don't know how you're going to do it with 2. I'm like, uh-oh. I need a new mommy and me group. I need somebody else that's like going to say, like, you're going to get through it. Here's how you can do it. And so sometimes we need somebody that has been where we are going.
Totally.
Because then they can say, I know you can do it because I've been where you are and I can get there.
Right.
And I've fell along the way and I can actually help you. And so this is where it's great having a coach, having, mentors, or for fitness, community that say, oh, I'm struggling with that. You're like, oh, I just fixed that.
Right.
And you might flip somebody else, be like, well, now I'm struggling with that. Oh, I know a person.
Right.
And so this is, community, like-minded, with like-minded dreams.
Absolutely.
Good. I love that. I'm big on mindset, and like that's a big part of my coaching practice is definitely, mindset mastery and the influencers there.
Yeah, it's so important, and it's funny. Energy is contagious. It is contagious.
For better, for worse.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
And so really, really tuning into that. And then the last tool that I want to share, in what I'm calling the quantum tools, is really activating a powerful energy of, I don't even want to say not giving up, because we've all heard of, like, don't ever give up, but have we heard of, like, standing strong and making something not an option. So like,
Yes.
where can you make the way that you feel not an option? Where can you make having more and more abundance not an option? Where can you make, you know, either attracting a relationship or shifting your relationship to one that's like just so juicy and something that you've always dreamed about? Like, how can you make that not an option? And whatever it is for you, when you can, like, I don't know if you can just feel the energy of
Yes.
the words that I'm saying, but I can feel it coming through, and just like anchoring in and just activating, because that's the quantum physics piece. Like, you can activate that frequency like that.
Okay.
When you really have that strong belief. And what happens is the energy of the loop of the old stories and the little bitty voice that's so cute starts to go away when you consciously activate, like, this is not an option. And that's the power we have as a human being. And once we can understand that, and if we're following all of the other tools that we've talked about, everything has to start to fall into place.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, and I'm not going to say your life might not be shaken up a little bit to create the space for what you're looking for, but in that, you truly can attract anything you desire.
Right. It sounds like to me that you're getting into that non-negotiable, like, commitment, unwavering devotion and
Yes.
loyalty. This is kind of more, earlier you're talking about the intuition and like into the feelings. Those are kind of more feminine aspects.
Right.
And I don't mean men or women, but this is now more the masculine. It says,
Totally.
this is not negotiable, this is integrity, and I need to hold that truth.
Right.
And it's kind of like in the ethers are the beliefs, in the air is our expressions and our intentions and our words, and then in the solar plexus is our fire and our action, and in like the second chakra is our emotion, like you were saying, get excited about it and have the emotion about it. And then when it lands, it's in earth.
Yes.
And all of the elements can move by, but it's like earth doesn't move.
No.
It's like the rain can come and it just washes over the rock, the wind, other people's judgments, the thoughts, the fears, like, don't hold up when there's this solid, grounded, mountain, masculine, like embodied earth.
Yes.
And that sounds to me like like a shamanic way of interpreting what you're saying.
Totally. And it's a decision.
Yeah.
And if you think of any time in your life when you've just made an unwavering decision,
Commitment.
and that is not like this must happen right this second, but like, this is happening, this is how it is, and I'm willing to do my part to show up whatever it is, and I just have an unwavering faith and decision.
Right.
Your energy will align to that. And if you can hold that long enough, then quantum physics proves that it has to show up.
Right.
Because that's the frequency that you're an energetic match to.
Right.
And I think where many people get lost in this is they're like, well, I decided, and 24 hours later it had not happened yet.
Right.
You know?
And I took no action.
Right.
And I decided, but then my thoughts were all negative for the next 24 hours.
Right, like if you're wanting love, and I did this for a while in my life when I was looking for love, was sitting at home and thinking Prince Charming was going to come knock on my door and sweep me off my feet, and I never had to leave my house, because I was visualizing it. And then I got really real, and I was like, okay, I'm going to need to walk outside of the door. I'm going to need to get myself visible, and it's interesting how quickly I started having like romantic connections with conscious men that were exciting to me because of that action piece, right? And so you'll be inspired when you make that decision, when you anchor in that energy, you'll always be guided to the next right step. And, I like to say it's most important to believe when it doesn't look possible. And when you think there's no way this can happen, because that is actually activating and that energy in a bigger, more powerful way. And you're therefore connecting to it on a quantum level. And I don't know, there's something about the energy of not thinking it's going to happen. There's no way it could happen, but you just embodying the truth of what you desire and letting it show up for you, and then being like, whoa,
Yes, this happened. The passion, it's so important. Like, one of the first times I really got this, at 21, or 20, I was 20, I was in college, and I'm in like financial debt. I'm like just getting by with loans and everything, and waitressing my way through college and all of that. Like, I don't have the money to go on semester at sea, a $10,000 trip, and then there's another $5,000 in expenses, and this was like a part of shipboard education, like a very expensive, program. But I'm like, the desire is so great to travel around the world. Like, I want it so bad. I want it so bad. I want it so bad. I'm just like, I'll find a way. And it became a non-negotiable. So I really appreciate everything that you're saying. That was an example of where I dreamed, I wanted it, I saw it, it was possible. I saw myself on the boat visiting India and going to Russia and did China at 20. Like, what am I at 20?
Yeah.
I don't have any money. I'm like in debt. And I'm like, I will find a way. I will find a way. And that was that non-negotiable met with passion.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I applied. And they're like, oh, you can work on the boat, and that cuts half, and then you can get this scholarship, and that's, it was cheaper than college when I finally got done with it. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And, I found a way. Like, the universe will find a way when you have that desire that you talked about.
Totally.
And that you have, it's not a maybe.
Right.
It's not like, well, maybe I'll do that.
Right.
Maybe I'll be on this trip. And I've had that happen many times, and you're inviting me to, like, really get clear about what is my next one of those that is like stretching me, and it's so far outside of what I think is possible, and to let my excitement and my passion, because I wanted it so bad, pee my pants so bad, like I'm gonna have it, and like that just, it drove me to find a way, and it drove me to get creative. And my daughter did the same way with figuring out how to get into Berkeley and how to pay for Berkeley, because she's like, I go find a way. And she did. I manifested a wonderful, scholarship to help her do that. And so I love that you're saying this. You've got to take action, and you've got to really have the passion about it. Be aware as if your vibration is in alignment. And you're doing this in your life.
Totally.
You're not just talking it, you're really manifesting it. And, and I've watched in the last 5 years, you really grow and expand, and best-selling author, and your TEDx talk is really just getting so much momentum, and the work you're doing is so profound and impactful.
I know. I was this summer. I was in Europe all of July, and it was like such a pinch me moment, because I'm like, traveling the world. I was speaking for Mind Valley at Croatia at Mind Valley University, and I was just like, I'm in Europe all summer, enjoying this, being able to. I didn't work too much, but when I needed to, I could. And then, having another, so many amazing speaking opportunities where I'm able to help people to really connect to their truth and their power and their soul in a new way. And that's what lights me up. Yeah.
So guess what? More manifestation of that, and Laguna Beach, and like you're a new space, a new home for you, and new romantic opportunities on the horizon, and doing what you love to do, and having a profound impact. Thank you so much for sharing all these pearls, and on so many platforms, like through a book, and through the events, and through your speaking and coaching, like amazing. And I'm so inspired, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will you share with everybody your free gift? You have a free gift, and also where people can find you.
Yeah, so I have an ebook for y'all, really diving deep into the quantum tools to use quantum physics to activate your dreams in your own life. And you can find me at SuzanneAdamsInc.com or on Instagram at SuzanneAdamsInc. And definitely check out my TEDx talk too.
We will for sure have those links, because I want people to check out that talk, because it was fantastic and amazing. So we'll make sure to have all of her links in the show notes. You can always find me at shamangelichealing.com, and I'm going to give you guys a free gift, a free quantum visualization, a guided visualization to kind of help you, get those dreams, get the feeling and emotion, excited, yes, and you can use that to manifest a vision, whether that's romantic, whether that's career, whether that's health, lifestyle, travel. So you can adapt that however you want. So I'm going to give you that free gift. And also a reminder to follow the link and sign up for the free 7-day clarity challenge that is happening in November. Definitely join me for that. 7 days of anchoring your clarity about your vision, your passions, and your dreams, so that we can really level up 2020. And And also opening the registration for Quantum Leap 2020, my online and one-on-one coaching program. So check that out. All of the links will be in the bio for the show notes. And so grateful to have you here.
Oh, such a pleasure and an honor.
So great.
Thank you.
So grateful.
Yes.
Please like it, share it, let more people know, because your friends, your family, your clients, your loved ones deserve to know about how to manifest abundance rapidly and how to leverage quantum physics to do so. If you liked it, share it. If you loved it, leave us a rave review. And as always, I appreciate your time and your energy. And thank you for tuning in. And go forth and manifest your yes, 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 and wherever your passion meets your vision and your dreams. And thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
All right. All right. You know what to do. Go forth and manifest.